Sup YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, I am Dope High. I just coach, make some content. I've been Radiant a couple times. The reason why I'm making this video today is try to give you guys some type of, template to follow to get to Immortal. It's less so about doing, certain things and more so your approach. So let's get into it. The number one thing that I want to address first is make sure you have your fundamentals down. So this would be like your mechanics. If you can't shoot back, you won't be able to execute on any of the things that you're trying to do, whether it be peek aggressively, take space, or just go for a trade kill. So train your mechanics every single day. For the newer players, this might be a little bit longer just because you're trying to figure out movement and how to peek and things like that. I have a video on how to peek, like a peeking guide and how I do it. There's also Woohoojin's movement guide and his guide to gold and things like that. So definitely check those out. And if you're just looking for a warm-up routine for your aim, everyone always talks about their aim. I've been using the voltaic ramp warm-up. I'll include that in the description below. But train your mechanics every single day. And if you're going to warm up, which I do recommend, that should be around 20 to 30 minutes, depending on what works best for you. So for me, my warm up recently for the past 2 weeks has been the ramps warm up, which is in aim labs. That takes about 15 minutes. And then I hop into the game and I play deathmatch, one deathmatch, no audio, and I just use the sheriff and I'm just going for clean shots. And then I'm ready to go. But that's because I already know how to move and peek. I've been doing it forever. I've been playing CS for a long time before. And I've played Valorant for a long time. So that stuff to me is very second nature. For you guys, your warm-up might include something like the movement guide and doing some drills that Woohoojin recommends. But this video isn't going to be that. There's already plenty of videos out there to showing you what routines you do. I trust that you guys will kind of just be able to identify your weaknesses and find that and include that into your warm-up. Okay? So I kind of want to interject here. This is footage from yesterday, and I was doing some hard bots, practicing my spray and a little bit of my op, just because these are some things that I feel like I should have worked on. I was feeling a little bit off these past, this week, so this was Tuesday, and I just wanted to try to kind of revisit some of these. So doing hard bots, and then I go over and start practicing my spray, as you can see on the bots over here. I like to do the bots when I practice my spray. I just spray a full clip into the target, and then I spray the bot, infinite ammo is off, and then I just go over to the flying bots on the side and just spray those a little bit, spray transfer those, and then I ended up practicing with the op too, just because my op has been bad. So this is a good example of kind of just identifying what I want to work on and including it in my warm-up. It's a bit of a deviation than what I was doing for the past 2 weeks, so just wanted to include that here. Okay, so now that we're past that part, train your mechanics every single day, and eventually you will be cracked mechanically. Now, this is probably the most important thing, is your mindset when you go into the game. Try to take responsibility and try to take control over the game. So taking responsibility will look like not blaming your teammates, kind of trying to figure out what you could have done differently. And taking control over the game is having an active playstyle. And this is the number one thing I try to push towards the students that I privately coach. Having an active playstyle is, I would say, just something that most people lack in general. Everyone's very passive. They're scared to make a mistake. They're not playing to win. They're playing not to lose. They're just holding down their spot, they're not rotating, or in the pre-round, they're just filling in where people aren't playing. So let's say we're 3 stacked over towards A site and there's 1 mid and then you are the last player. Then you just gravitate towards B site or something like that. When in reality, maybe that round you should have just played 4A and just played no one B, because that's where you really think that they're going to go, So don't really be a quote unquote fill player. Do what you think is best in that round and try to coordinate that with your teammates. And that is what an active play style look like. So reading the enemy and then trying to be there, and reacting accordingly and reading the game. and having the confidence to do it. Instead of just sitting around waiting for like 10 seconds, 20 seconds, maybe even a full minute before anything happens, you should be looking for the action or to be in the action rather than just sitting around. So that's super, super important. I can't stress this enough. This is like why I push playing Duelist and Initiator so much, because controllers and sentinels inherently have a harder time to be active. So in these cases, if you are a controller or a sentinel player, then I encourage you to try to take control over the game by IGLing, which means in-game leading. So you can basically communicate with your teammates what your plans are, how you're going to take the map, like map control, I mean, coordinating utility, coordinating site hits, maybe like which areas of the map you want to control on defense, et cetera, et cetera. So if you are playing the support agents, that is how you get more impact. And if you are playing a duelist or initiator, you get more impact by being where the action is, and of course there's some nuances to it, but that's the general idea. So just think active playstyle. What can I do actively here? How can I be in the action? I know I keep saying this, but I just really want to nail down this point. Okay, so we got that down. We have training mechanics every single day. We have the mindset, taking responsibility, and having an active playstyle. Okay, so let's keep moving on. In terms of your schedule, you can do whatever works for you, but I really highly recommend that you try to limit your games that you play a day so that you don't tilt and you have effective practice. All too often I see people play 5, 6, 7, maybe even 8 to like 12 games a day, and they just tilt, and like you can see their performance just go down, and then you're not having effective practice anymore because you're tilting, you're getting tired, you're not focused. So this will kind of vary depending on your schedule and as your player, but I like to recommend 3 to 4 games per block. So when you sit down and you play, you warm up, whatever, you play 3 to 4 games. If you want to play more games than that in a day, I recommend you take a long break. So you could, go to the gym, do some other work, meditate, nap, eat, I don't know, just whatever to like separate your blocks. And then you can come back to it, warm up again, and then play your subsequent games, ideally 3 to 4 games. But make sure you're limiting your games so you just don't continuously tilt queue or, go on that note. So really important. I swear, the amount of trackers I see with just spam games is just not good for you. And I can attest to this. During my 24-hour stream, I went from top 150, 736 RR, I think that's the number, 730 RR, straight down to like 400 RR. Like, it was crazy. I don't know if it was like in the same one stream, but like I was 3 wins and 10 losses during the 24-hour stream. I think over the course of the next few days, I was kind of tilted and sad I lost those games. So then I ended up dropping to the 400 RR. So I don't think I was in the entire 24-hour stream, but 3 wins, 10 losses. That should really kind of like showcase you guys. Once you lose focus, you are going to play bad. And especially if you're tilted, you're just autopilot, So limit your games, make sure they're effective practice. Okay. Now moving on, make sure that when you are playing, you have something to reference. So I always suggest to people to Vod Review pros on the agent that you're playing to see what they would do. Take notes on things that you seem interesting to you that you want to try to implement, because we learn better by reference. Visual stimulus and examples are just so important to us that like it's way better to just watch something that takes like, 15 to 30 minutes than playing 10, 20 games to finally get the reps you need on that map to figure out what works. And I guess it's just a shortcut. Just watch pros. It's just so easy. If you don't want to watch pros, watch my videos. I kind of break it down at least to, speed run that. Hujun has great pro review analysis as well. So just watch content that pertains to you, which I guess is what you're doing when you watch this video. Okay, the next thing is to reflect on what you're actually doing in your games to see, if you have no impact, what you could have done differently and what would have a pro have done. So you watch it, you try to implement. If you feel like you're not having any impact, see what you could have done differently. Pretty simple, right? You could do this through self-VOD review. You could do this just looking at the match as a whole once the game is over, but actually having some type of reflection is super important. And then another thing is just trying to be patient with yourself, accepting that you are where you are because that is where you are, you know? That's quote unquote where you deserve to be. There's always some type of limiting factor that you need to work on. It could be your mental game. It could be the amount of time you play in the game, whether or not it's too much or too little, whether or not it's your communication skills, like you're just not talking at all to your teammates, or you're talking too aggressively, you're tilting your teammates. Your mechanics could still be off, so making sure to train those every single day. The list goes on and on. But there's always something that you can improve on. So just accept where you are and just be nice to yourself and grind it out, you know? The worst thing you can do is just berate yourself and be like, oh my God, I'm still immortal. This is to get to immortal. Oh my God, I'm still diamond or platinum and I've been playing for months. Like, you're not doing yourself any favors. So stop complaining, figure out what your problems are, and get to work. Just to emphasize, I think sticking to a consistent schedule is pretty important. It doesn't have to be super robust, but something like warm up, play, review, like we've talked about before, something of that nature is pretty good. You can't expect to improve if you don't train consistently, so if you're only playing like once a week, you're going to have a harder time compared to someone that plays 5 times a week. Even if that once a week you played like a bajillion games, consistency is big. So it's just like going to the gym, you want to stay consistent and you want it to be effective. And then I guess for success criteria, I wanted to mention this. A lot of you guys, including myself, struggle with the outcome of a match. We are inherently results oriented, right? If we do well, if we do poorly, if we win or we lose, like we have a reaction to it. And I would say that's probably normal, right? But if you can just accept it for what it is, or at least take less importance from the result, this is kind of where your mental game will improve greatly. So in my opinion, and you've probably heard this from other coaches as well, if you can put your success metric on something else, like sticking to your schedule. So today, did I warm up, play my games, and reflect on my games afterwards? That's a win. Or if your success metric is like implementing some of your notes, like did I try to play aggressively this game, or did I try to communicate with my teammates this game, then that's a win. And if you do it that way, the outcome of the match or your performance doesn't matter. You've successfully like completed your metric, if that makes sense. So the performance will come over time. In the meantime, you need to work on yourself and have something else to celebrate, I guess. And that's just whatever your success metric is. This will vary, of course. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts. I feel like people approach the game differently. You can still get to immortal, you can get to radiant doing different things. You don't have to be efficient, whatever, and that's completely true. I just think that this is the best way to do it. You can make adjustments wherever necessary, but the main thing, I guess, is to think about is working on yourself and trying not to blame your teammates. The mental game is a really big aspect of it, and I don't want that to be overlooked. So hopefully this kind of like reference or template or like the way to approach, I guess, improving will help you guys out. If you guys want to like, I guess, get an outsider's perspective, reaching out to a coach is good. You could join my stream for Vod Review Raffles. You can enter my Discord, ask some questions from people in the community, whatever. We're all here to help you guys out. So yep, that's the video. That's how you get to immortal. Just to recap, train your mechanics every single day. Make sure you have the fundamentals down. Make sure your mindset, you're taking responsibility. You're taking control over the game with an active play style. You're limiting your games so that you're not tilted and tired and you're actually focused. Vod Review pros and agents to see what they would do, or Vod Review pros on the agents so you see what they would do. And then you have a reference to, I guess, compare yourself to and try to implement what they do. Reflect on your game, see what you could have done differently. What would a pro have done? Be patient and accept that you are where you are because that's just, that's where you deserve to be. And there's always something for you to work on. Stick to a consistent schedule. Doesn't have to be robust, but something consistent will help out, just like going to the gym. And if you're not performing well or you're doing well, winning or losing shouldn't matter. Your success metric should be something else. And then, of course, find content like this to try to, I guess, help you along with your journey. Good luck out there. Appreciate you guys watching, and yeah, subscribe if you want. Peace out.